Hi guys, thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with me.
Hello.
Uh, and being a TV critic, like the most obvious question I get is, what kind of show is the show I should watch next? And having steered people towards the marvelous Mrs. Maisel have never backfired yet. So thanks for giving me that obvious way out of that question.
Thanks for keeping us on the air.
Yeah, no worries. But on that note, what do you guys think is the reason that most people, like, regardless of age or gender, seem to be able to fall really easily in love with this show?
Yeah, we get asked this question a lot, and so we've given it a lot of thought over the years. But the thing I hear from the outside the most is that it feels like there's something in it for everyone. That whether you relate to or are excited by this sort of titular character in Midge whose life imploded and who has reinvented herself and found a brand new way to use her voice, or the fashion, if you love the beautiful clothes, or you can relate to being a parent who has a daughter who explodes her own life and therefore theirs. It feels like, or you're a Susie, you're someone who's ambitious and trying to carve out a path for themselves. It feels like there's something in the show for everyone. If you just want to escape and laugh, that too. And so I think that's what's made it reach so many different people from so many different pockets of the world and so many different experiences.
I think I think visually too, it's eye candy. It's cinematic and the camera work and the lighting, and it's like a it's like a painting. So many of the shots are just beautiful in themselves, regardless of dialogue or story. It's just beautiful to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's peak TV for sure. And at the start of the first season, I kind of feel like Mitch lived in this tiny bubble that popped, and she kind of discovered an ever expanding ocean of possibilities and limitations also, like money and the fact that she's a woman in a world that thinks that women should be in a certain kind of way. And so I was wondering what kind of themes and experiences that you have gone through this far throughout the show has been have you felt been most rewarding to explore so far?
Hmm. That's a great question. I mean, it's been really fun to play a woman who is discovering essentially everything for the first time. Somebody who is curious and and easily excitable sometimes. You don't know what you don't know, and to your point, Midge is discovering just how much she didn't know, and I think in a very short period of time has been determined to not only learn about everything she didn't know, but to master it and then to figure out how she wants to do things differently. And so, as an actor, that's been an incredibly rewarding emotional arc to live within. On a practical level, some of these incredible oneers, these single shots that have come to define the show, have just been the most extraordinary thing to see up close. How the whole show moves like a dance piece. The actors are in motion with the cinematographer and with the background actors, and there's a shorthand that makes some of these incredible shots possible. The USO comes to mind, that opened season 2.
Yeah.
Just never seen anything like that up close. The level of masterful technique by every single person involved was incredible.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm also all in for the womance between Midge and Susie, which kind of feels like the heart of the show in a way. And I spoke with Amy earlier, and she also said that their relationship if it wouldn't have been for the common interest, they would probably not have spoken more than 5 minutes with each other and just never been in each other's lives. And could you try to describe what you believe your characters like and find most intriguing with each other now when they've actually spent more than 5 minutes together?
Well, I was mentioning before that when these two characters first meet in the very first season, it's at the Gaslight, and it's Midge being relentless about getting her now ex-husband a spot. She brings a brisket and she will not take no for an answer. And that tenacity and the balls on this woman, that I think is what Susie fell in love with. That's where the womance, I think, began, and realized, oh my God, I've never met someone quite as annoying as me. This woman is relentless. And, as soon as she saw the talent she's got, I think Susie, that's when she really fell in love and felt like, I gotta work with this person. I've never met someone who's as ballsy as me, but in this wholly different package. And I think that's true, though. Otherwise, had they not had that in common, I don't know that they would never have found themselves in the same room. I don't know if that answers the question.
I also must confess that I kind of grown up listening to your many voices, Alex. So Family Guy came out when I was 10, so it's perfect time to get on board on that show. So even though it's an honor speaking to the both of you, obviously, I've been so glad to get to know Susie throughout your portrayal in this show. And I've also learned that you did that you yourself did stand up, and you did that as a 16-year-old in the 80s even. So I was wondering, is there anything in particular in this show that kind of takes you back to your own experiences from that time? Now this is in the 50s and 60s, and was probably different in the 80s, but I imagine there could be some overlap.
Well, all I heard was you were 10 and I did stand up when I was 16 in the 80s. All I'm doing is crying on the inside of how old I am now. But
I'm telling you out of love, though.
No, there's definitely similarities. I mean, I did very little stand up. I don't want to ever make it seem like I have toured and lived that life. I have not, but I did dabble in it. I started when I was 16. And one of the reasons I did not commit to it was very stressful and intimidating. And it was such a boys' club, and sitting around backstage waiting for a tiny spot in an open mic at 2 a.m. was discouraging. And the men were in their separate, section, and it was not pleasant. I didn't enjoy it. So in that regard, some of that rings true. When we've done the scenes where Midge is kind of facing an uphill battle and feeling left out of this kind of guyness of the comics waiting at bat, it's some of it gives me the creeps, and remembering those moments and the smell backstage of desperation and all of that unpleasantness. So yeah, some of it does ring very true, but I certainly never did it long enough and pursued it the way Midge has.
I see. So we're almost out of time, so I only have one more question to go, and then you're off to the next interview. But we're 4 seasons in the Marvel of Mrs. Maisel now, and most shows don't have that kind of luck, especially not period pieces that cost extra to make. But I, for one, hope there will be more. So I was wondering, have you had any talks about how far down the road you would like to take this show?
I'm hoping that in 20 years, someone else will tell me they were 10 years old when they started watching Mrs. Maisel, and I'll still be doing it. That's what I'm hoping. Does that work? Yeah,
my son is 8, so maybe you can talk to him.
Perfect. So when he's maybe 5 more seasons, maybe.
That sounds great.
It was always
So
long as
thank you
there.
for your answers, and good luck with the season premiere. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.